Hi everyone, welcome back to Little Hive Crafts. Today we're going to make this textured crochet headband in two colors. This tutorial is suitable for beginners, but it would definitely help if you knew the basic stitches. Let's dive right in. To make this, we're going to need a 3.5 mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors or a thread cutter, yarn needle, and a suitable yarn in two colors. I have used Laura Knitting Cotton, which is available in India on my website. I'll leave a link in the description box below, but you can also use any DK light worsted or medium worsted weight yarn of any other fiber which is suitable for a 3.5 mm hook. We're going to start by making a slip knot. If you're already familiar with the basics of crochet, or even if you're an advanced crocheter, I would suggest that you skip all this and go right into the pattern. But since I'm making this tutorial for beginners, I'm going to show you how to start with a slip knot. Now place a short length of yarn across your fingers and palm like that, and make a simple loop with the long thread like so. Then insert your fingers into the loop and pull out the long thread. This is going to be your slip knot into which you will insert your hook like that, and then we pull it tight to close the knot. Remember, at this point it must be easy for you to move and maneuver the hook through the knot. It should not be too tight or too loose, so just try moving the hook in and out like that. And it's important to hold the threads in place. So we have the longer thread, which is what we're going to work with, and we have the short tail end. So we need to hold both in place. Some people just wind it around once, like how I have done it around my index finger, but some people like to wind around the thread 2-3 times. It's absolutely fine. So please find your comfortable position where it does not hurt your fingers or your wrist, and then we are good to go. We're going to start by making chain stitches. So with the hook there, you're going to pick up the yarn, turn your hook down and pull it through the hole. That completes one chain. We're going to do that again. Catch the yarn with your hook, turn your hook down and pull it through that hole. There you've made two chains. So just keep repeating this motion. You can pause the video and practice this for as long as you want, because to begin this headband, we're going to make a total of 85 chains. How did I arrive at the number 85? That is simply because I chained that many and I measured it around my head for the headband. As you keep making these chains, you'll see this braid-like structure with a V shape in each loop. So each of that counts as a chain. And you're going to have 85 of them. Remember, whatever be the size of the headband that you make, the total number of chains should be an odd number. If you're making a shorter one for a child, for example, that again should be an odd number of chains. I have completed my 85 chains, and just to make sure, I measured it around my head and it fits me well. So now moving on, the fun part about this headband is that we're going to work 7 rows and every row has the same pattern. So we're going to start by working into each of the chain loops there. And just to show you our two colored, by the way, the stitch is called Houndstooth stitch in crochet, and I was very excited when I tried it for the first time. I really liked the effect of it. Somebody on my Instagram commented that it looked like ECG graph on a graph on ECG monitor. But yes, we're going to go ahead and go into the second loop from the hook. So that's the first chain, and there's a second chain from the hook. Enter the second chain from the hook and grab your yarn and come out of the same loop. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Then you yarn over and pull through both loops. So we've made our first single crochet stitch in the second chain from the hook. Single crochet in US terms. We're going to now make a double crochet stitch into the very next chain space over there. So to make a double crochet stitch, you're going to yarn over hook once, enter that chain, grab the yarn and come out. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook, as you can see. Now we'll yarn over again, pull through the first 2 loops like so, and yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. This completes one double crochet stitch. So we made a single crochet in the first chain, second chain from the hook, and a double crochet in the next chain. We're going to repeat this all along. We're going to do single crochet in the next and double crochet in the next, and we're going to continue that till the end of this long string that we have. So into the next chain over there, I'm going to go take my hook inside, grab the yarn and come out. 2 loops on my hook, then I yarn over and pull through both loops. This is my single crochet stitch in US terms. And into the next stitch we're going to do a double crochet stitch. So yarn over hook, enter that chain, grab the yarn and come out. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops on your hook. Now at this point, 2 questions or doubts may arise. One is, okay, how do I know which gap or chain to enter into? So to do that, just stretch out your work a little and you will see that that bigger hole over there is where you did your last stitch. So you need to enter into the hole or the chain space right next to that. So that chain loop which has a bigger hole is where your last stitch went. So we're going to go into the next chain over there and then do our single crochet stitch. Enter the chain, draw a loop and come 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. And the next common doubt that comes at this point, which is quite natural if you're a beginner, is okay, how do I know which stitch I did last? Did I do a single or did I do a double crochet? Now again, to find that out, a double crochet stitch is longer than a single crochet stitch, but in just one row you can't really make out the height difference. If you look closely, a single crochet stitch has just those that V-shaped structure over there, but a double crochet stitch has a little more going on. Can you see there's more yarn winding in and out of the double crochet stitch? You just need to look at it closely and stretch the stitch a little bit over there, so you can see that double crochet stitch has a little more yarn work going in and out, but a single crochet stitch is a simple V shape. So we've done a single in the last, and into the next chain we're going to do a double crochet stitch like so. And again, I'm just stretching it to show you closely. You see that a double crochet stitch is a little more than just a V, and it's a bit taller. Now into the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet again, and into the next we're going to do a double crochet. Again, if you're just a beginner, don't worry, this comes and really gets better with a lot of practice, but right now we can look at it as a very good exercise to pay attention. So I'm going to go all the way along the chain to make a single crochet in one chain and a double crochet in the next. We just keep alternating this, and at the end of this row you should have made 84 stitches. Remember, we started with 85 chains, but the first stitch was made into the second chain from the hook. So we left one chain there. So at the end of this round, you should have made 84 stitches. I am entering the last chain of my work in the first row, and we will finish with a double crochet stitch in the last chain. So remember, this is for this row we started with a single crochet, so we have to end with a double crochet stitch, and that gives us 84 stitches at the end. How do I count the number of stitches? Is when you turn the work and look on top, you will see these V-shaped stitches, and that is how we count the number of stitches. At the end you should have made 84, but this is a very, very important place to pause and measure it around your head to check once again if it fits your head right. Because remember, in case you've missed entering any chain space, and if you've missed the number of stitches, or if your count doesn't add up to 84 or one less than the number of chains you made, that means you could end up with a shorter, tighter headband. You could also end up with a higher number of stitches in case you went into the same chain and made more than one stitch. thinking that you've gone into the next chain space. So these are possible errors that can happen. And if it does, the only way to know is to really place it around your head and see that it fits. If it doesn't, this is a good place to undo and redo that part because we want the foundation to be right. At the end of every row, we're going to change color, and to change color, you're going to just undo the last stitch that we made, which is the double crochet stitch. This is just for me to show it to you once. In this pattern, we are going to have to change color at the end of every round. So when you're in the last stitch, double crochet stitch, you start as usual, yarn over, go into that last chain, grab the yarn and come out. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops with the first color, and then we just drop the old color, pick up the new color for the second row, and complete the last step with the new color. So hold the new color close and hook it and pull through the next 2 loops with your new color. Now I have a different color on my hook, and that's what I'm going to use for my next round. But we have to do something in addition to that. We're not going to cut off the old color. We're going to carry it along all the way across this row. I'll show you how. Start this round by chaining 1, turn your work like that, and you have the first color yarn tail hanging over there, the working yarn. So we're just going to simply hold it along your stitches, and we're going to, whatever stitch we do in this round, we're going to wind it around this green yarn as well. So into the first stitch of this round, you're going to do a single crochet stitch. So enter your hook under both loops of the stitch and enter your hook under the green yarn tail as well. Just consider it as part of your stitch. Then pull your new color through. You should have 2 loops on your hook and complete your single crochet stitch like so. Into the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, yarn over, go under the stitch. So that's my stitch over there into which I'm going to enter, and I'm also carrying along the green yarn. Yarn over with the new color, enter the stitch and the old color, grab the yarn and come out. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. So we've done single crochet and double crochet in the first 2 stitches of our round 2, and we are also carrying the old color along with us all the way across. Now into the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet again. The pattern is the same. It's single, double, we're going to alternate. But the only difference is that we are not working under the stitch alone, we are working under the old yarn thread as well. You will see at the end of this row why this is important. I'm going to go ahead and complete this row working single crochet in one stitch, double crochet in the next all along till we come to the end of this row, where we should be finishing with a double crochet stitch. What we are actually creating here is single crochet on top of every double crochet of the previous row and a double crochet on top of every single crochet of the previous row. I am about to complete this row. I have now done a double crochet and I should be left with 2 more stitches to work into, so I can complete my next set of single and double crochet stitches. So that is the next stitch that I'm going to be working into, the next 2 stitches rather. So enter the next stitch and enter the old yarn tail as well, make your single crochet, and at this point it's really easy to miss the last stitch to be made, and if we keep doing that we will be reducing the stitch count, because remember, every row we're going to start with a single crochet and end with a double crochet. So there in hiding is my last stitch. Don't miss that. Go under that stitch, under the yarn tail, and complete your double crochet to end this row. Remember, we don't complete the double crochet stitch here. We just do one step of it, of pulling through the first 2 loops, and then we drop the old color and pick up the next color, which was the tail that I was carrying all along. And this is why, because it's easier to just grab that new color, next color, and continue our row. So finish the double crochet stitch with the next color which you're alternating with, which you've been carrying along. Just pull through the last 2 loops with that color. And now for row 3, we're going to drag along the color that we used in row 2. So I'm going to start with chain 1 with row 3 color and turn your work. Just remember to carry along your row 2 color all the way for this round and enter the first stitch over there, not your chain 1 but the first stitch. Going under the yarn tail as well, we make our first single crochet stitch with the color that we're using for row 3. So that's my first single crochet stitch, and into the next stitch I go ahead and make my double crochet. And this pattern repeats itself. So single crochet in the next stitch and double crochet in the next stitch all the way across whilst working into the old yarn tail as well. I'll do this and meet you at the end of this row. Just to show you, this is the back of your work. This is how it's going to look, and that's the front. Now at the end of my third row, almost at the end, this is what we have, and I have 2 more stitches left. I'm going to work my last set of single crochet in that last but one stitch, and I'm going to start my double crochet stitch in the last stitch over there, yarn over hook, enter the stitch, grab the yarn and come out, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and remember, drop the old color, bring the next color like so, and we complete this double crochet stitch with the next color. Yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops with your next color, which is your round 4 color. In round 4 again, we're going to carry the tail of your round 3 color yarn. So chain 1 in round 4, turn your work, carry the tail of your round 3 color yarn all along, and we keep making the same pattern. Single crochet in the first stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, until we come to the end of the row and we change color, and this keeps repeating. Remember, you can absolutely stop your headband right here if this is the width you're looking for. But I want a wider headband, and I'm going to go ahead and make 7 rows in total. I have done 3, I'm going to make 4 more rows so I get the width that I want for my headband. Here I've completed my 7 rows and I have a width of 5 centimeters. That's what I wanted, and I've got that. If you want it wider, then please go ahead and make more rows, or if you want it less wide, then you can of course cut short on the number of rows. I tried button and loop finishing on one headband, which I was not very happy about, but it was quite simple to do. You just sew on a button of your choice onto one edge, and then you make a loop of a few chains in the middle of the other edge. Then it's easy to loop your button onto, but this I found was not the best way to finish. So I went on to make a simpler finishing using single crochet for the edges. To do that, we're just going to bring the edges of our headband together with the right side facing inward and the wrong side facing out. So there you see where you can spot the top of your stitches, those V-shaped stitches. That's the correct or the right side, which is facing you, and the other side, if you turn, so that's the wrong side. Join the edges now. We're going to have the right sides facing inwards. So whichever yarn that you worked for the last row of your headband, leave that as it is, and just simply fold the headband with right sides facing in, and now we're going to join the edges. Carry the hook from the back end of your back edge of your headband into the front and insert the hook under the first chain space or hole that you find on the front edge. Insert it under the back edge as well, like so. Draw up a loop. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through both loops. So that's your single crochet edging, and we're going to do that just holding the two edges all along. So in the end, you would have made about 7 or 8 single crochet stitches. Once you're done with that, you're practically done with your headband. All you got to do is trim that yarn, cut that yarn, and weave in the yarn tails. And this is where your yarn needle comes in really handy. Weaving in is nothing but hiding those yarn tails into stitches that are close to each other and then cutting it so it's a little more secure and it doesn't come off. That's how the finished headband looks. I hope you enjoyed making from this tutorial and that it was not too challenging even if you were an absolute beginner. Have fun with this pattern. You can make lots of things. It really works up very well as a scarf because it's quite closely knit and it keeps your neck warm. Do subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Thank you. Bye bye.